Birth Story 18. Third time's a charm. Mom, she planned to use an epidural. Achieved childbirth vaginally with an epidural, IV fluids, and ephedrine. Baby number 3, Hayden, born October 18th, weighed 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Gestation, 38 weeks, 4 days. Labor, natural onset of labor that lasted 18 hours. AROM, she pushed for 25 minutes. Dear Hayden, your mom, like so many moms, went into false labor 2 times before her guest date on October 28th and was turned away from the hospital each time. But the third time labor started, it stayed. In the morning, your mom was having some Braxton Hicks contractions that she had been experiencing for weeks. On this day, they were hanging around with no end in sight. She said they were mild and inconvenient, but at 4:30 p.m., they became consistent and measurable contractions that were more obvious. By 8 p.m., the contractions were consistent at 10 minutes apart. She had already gone to the hospital 2 times and was sent home in prodromal labor. So she was scared they would stop again. When I arrived, your mom was very flushed. I cooled her down with a fan and cold cloths and gave her a relaxing massage. A movie played in the background to keep your mom distracted from the increasing contractions. I had your mom sit on the birthing ball, and every time a contraction would rise, she would fall back into my arms and let me comfort her. Between contractions, I continued to massage your mom and help her gather her strength for the next one. Your mom and I tried to walk around the house and keep moving while her labor progressed. At about 10:30 p.m., her contractions were 4 minutes apart, and she was having trouble talking. Your mom had the desire to head to the hospital and finally believed she was in real labor. It was very cold outside, so we bundled up and headed down the road to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, your mom was already pre-registered from her false labors. So they put us right into a room that you were going to be born in. Your mom was in a lot of pain, and her birth plan included an epidural. As soon as we were settled, they started IV fluids and called for the anesthesiologist. In the interim, I massaged your mom and we watched your heart rate as they monitored you. You were head down and your heart rate was good. Her cervix was 3 centimeters dilated, but you were super high at a -3 station. Once your mom received her epidural, the doctor offered to break her water to speed up labor. She consented, as this was also part of her birth plan. This was her 3rd birth, and she knew exactly what she wanted. At 1 a.m., she said she felt dizzy and weak, and her blood pressure dropped to 70/40, making her hypotensive. The room sounded with alarms. She was nauseous and pale during the whole ordeal. But I helped keep her calm and assured her she was safe. The nurse gave your mom more IV fluids and ephedrine to help get her blood pressure back up. Epidural anesthesia can often cause a drop in blood pressure, and the hospital's protocol to handle it worked very quickly. Once both you and your mom were stable again, your mom got very sleepy and wanted to rest. I massaged her and rubbed her back until she was asleep. At 4 a.m., the nurse came to check on your mom's progress. She was being continuously monitored because of the epidural, and the nurse reported that contractions had increased to 3 minutes apart, but your mom's cervix was not yet dilating. She was still 3 centimeters. Then they checked on you, and your station was still high at -3, and you were recorded as sunny side up, which means you were facing up toward her stomach instead of toward her back. The nurse and I rolled her on both sides, alternating every 30 minutes. I squeezed her hips and put pressure on her sacrum and pelvis with each contraction to try and give you just a little more room to move. Your mom was able to fall back asleep while we rotated her through the night, an attempt to help you also rotate. At 9 a.m., your mom woke up feeling pressure. You had flipped over and were now facing down in the perfect birthing position. Your mom's cervix had dilated to 9 centimeters, and you were at a 0 station. Things were happening very quickly then. The doctor ordered for your mom to labor down and wait for that pressure to build or the urge to push. While she labored down and rested, I had a birthing bar brought in to help your mom whenever she decided to push. Soon, even with the epidural, your mom's contraction pain returned. She started to feel a burning sensation and the overwhelming urge to push around 10:30 a.m. I wrapped the rebozo around the birthing bar for your mom so that she could pull herself up to push with a contraction. At this point, the epidural was barely on board. Your mom's contractions were so painful that she was having trouble breathing correctly. So she had to put on an oxygen mask to make sure you were both getting enough oxygen and to help her breathe more deeply. She was scared. I looked into your mom's eyes because she had started to cry. And I told her, you were almost here. I told her the pain was almost gone and that she just needed to breathe during the resting period and hold her breath and push through the contractions. The next thing I knew, she ripped off the oxygen mask, grabbed the rebozo, and pulled herself up to push. I could see the top of your head. 2 more pushes, and you were born at 10:55 a.m. Once you took your first breath, the nurse cut your umbilical cord and placed you on your mom's chest. Your placenta delivered 10 minutes later with minimal bleeding. Your mom received Pitocin in her IV for this last stage of labor. We were all crying, Hayden. You weighed in at 7 pounds, 8 ounces, and you nursed right away. Much love, your doula, Heidi. Birth affirmation. I give my birthing over to my body and my baby.